Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're on Module 3, Lesson 3, and we have been using pictures or models to show how to multiply fractions by whole numbers. So that's what we're going to continue today, but then we're going to learn how to use the algorithm. So my first problem is 2/3 times 6, or 2/3 of 6. So I could do this a couple different ways. I could do the tape diagram. So I could say if I have 6 wholes and I need to divide it into 3 pieces, well, what would have to be here? So what plus what's going to give me this? I know it's going to be 2's. And if I have 2 of the thirds, my answer is going to be 4. So I could show it using a tape diagram. I also could have showed this using like dots. So if I had 6 pieces and I divided them into thirds because of my denominator, well, 2 of the thirds would give me 4. I even could have used a number line for this. I could have had 6 on my number line. And each whole I'm going to cut into thirds. So each whole I cut into thirds, and then I have 2/3 of each whole. So for this one, I would have those 2/3. From 1 to 2, I'd have those 2/3. From 2 to 3, I'd have those 2 pieces or thirds. From 3 to 4, I'd have those. From 4 to 5, and from 5 to 6. So I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would have 12 thirds. Well, 12 thirds is also going to be equal to 4. And I know that because I could, some of you know how to figure that out in your head, because I could say 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3, 3 thirds, 3 thirds. So 3, 6, 9, 12 thirds, and each of those is equal to 1 whole. Or I could have used division, which sometimes I think is easier. So I think of In-N-Out, one of our favorite restaurants. My 3 goes out and my 12 goes in. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 4 groups. So no matter what, whatever picture I used, I'm still getting 4. Okay, let's go on to our next one. So my next one is 2/3 of 7. So if I try to do my tape diagram for this one, look what's going to happen. So I'm going to say 7. And again, because of my denominator of a 3, I'm going to divide this into 3 parts. So what 3 of them, what plus what could give me 7? Nothing. I can't do that. So a tape diagram won't work for this problem. If I try to use my dots for this one, the same thing. I can't divide this into 3 pieces or thirds. So for this problem, I would have to use my number line. So I would say I have 0 to 7, and I'm going to divide it by wholes. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I should have made that a lot bigger. I'm going to have to adjust mine. That was not a good idea. I'm sorry about that. It's kind of messy right there. So I have to have 0 to 7. And for each whole, I need to cut it into thirds. So each whole is going to be cut into 3 pieces. And for each whole, I need 2 of the 3 pieces. So I need 2 there, 2 here, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 thirds. So my answer is 14 thirds, but that's an improper or greater than 1 fraction, so I don't want to leave that. So I'm going to use division to help me make this into a proper mixed number. Well, 14 divided into groups of 3, I could make not 5 groups, I wouldn't have enough, but I could make 4 groups of 3, which would be 12. So I would be left with 2 left. So my answer is 4 2/3. Okay, so let's do some of these together. Okay, so on this one, let's see. If I have 9, am I going to be able to do my tape diagram? No, because if we draw a tape diagram for 9, and they want us to cut it into fourths, there's nothing that I can put there that's going to work. So if the tape diagram won't work, then we have to do our number line. So we're going to have to go all the way to 9. So I might do by 3s first, and then go back and do 1. Okay, so now I have 9, but now because of this, we have to actually cut this into fourths. And there's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not using the whole paper right now. So we need to go into each one and cut it into fourths. That's a lot. So I'm going to each one really small and cutting each one into fourths. Okay, now it says I have 3/4 of each of the 9 pieces. So I have those 3 pieces, but not that one. I have those 3 pieces, those 3, those 3, those 3, those 3, those 3, and I'm going to keep going. So that's how much I have. Of each whole, I have 3/4. So I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. I have 27 of them. And they're each a fourth big. So I have 27 fourths. 27 fourths. Okay, so this is a greater than 1 fraction, so let's fix it using in and out. So we have 4 and 27. So if I have 27 and I want to make groups of 4, well, I know 5 groups of 4 would be 20, 6 groups of 4 would be 24, 7 groups of 4 would be 28. So that's too many. So I'm going to make 7 groups of 4. And I'm left with 3 left over, and that becomes my numerator. So our answer is 6 3/4. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because this one's going to be so much, I'm going to let us skip that one. We're going to come back to it. Okay, on to our last one. Well, this one's a little bit nicer because I know if I did my tape diagram for 10, and they wanted me to divide it into 5 pieces, I know what I could put in each of those. So what could we divide 10 into 5 pieces? And it would be 2s. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I was able to take my 10 and divide it into 5 pieces. And they say, what if you have 3 of the 5 pieces? Well, my answer would be 6. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the pictures do work, except notice we wanted to skip one because it's a lot of work. but I'm going to show you a faster method. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you when I don't want to do the pictures, because the problems are going to get larger and I don't want to always do them. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my fraction and I'm going to turn any whole numbers or mixed numbers into fractions. So I know that 6 is the same as 6 over 1. That is a whole number. 6 over 1 is the same as 6. And now I'm going to multiply straight across. 2 times 6 is 12, and 3 times 1 is 3. And look what I got. I got the same thing that I did for my pictures, which when I fixed this greater than 1 fraction, I got 4. But it saves me a lot of time with my pictures. So let's look at my next one. So my next one is 2/3 times, now I can't have a whole number, so I'm going to write 7 as a fraction. And then I'm going to multiply straight across. So 2 times 7 is 14, and 3 times 1 is 3. And look, I got the same thing I did from when I did my number line. It's just much faster. So what are my rules? I'm going to pick up my green pen. My rule is you can only multiply a fraction times a fraction. So I can't have a mixed number or a whole number. So if I have a number like 8, 8 is the same as 1. If I have 10, 10 is the same as 1. If I have 3, 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So I can only multiply a fraction times a fraction. Okay, so let's go back and fix these ones then. So let's redo this one much quicker. So 3/4 times, instead of 9, we're going to put 9 over 1. And then we're just going to multiply straight across. 3 times 9 is 27, and 4 times 1 is 4. And look, we got the exact same answer. Now this one I let us skip, and look how quick we can do it using the algorithm. 4/5 times 12 over 1. And we can go straight across. So 4 times 12 is 48. 5 times 1 is 5. Now that's a greater than 1 fraction. So let's use division. And I'm going to use in and out. That's kind of my little trick that I help remind myself. Well, 48 divided by 5 is 9. 9 groups of 5 is 45 with 3 left over. So we're getting 9 and 3/5. And let's do one more together. Okay, so we already have our answer, but let's see how we could have done it a shorter version or a more efficient. So 3 times 10 is 30, and 5 times 1 is 5. And when we use our in and out, 30 divided into groups of 5 would be 6, and 6 groups of 5 would be 30. So it's exactly 6. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I strongly suggest you use the algorithm. So on tonight's homework, you don't have to use the tape diagram or the method that they're using. You could just solve it. And then on the bottom half, again, you could just solve it. But they do say that you have to use whole numbers when possible. So you cannot leave your fractions as greater than 1 fractions. All right, have a great evening. Good night.